Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Yugoslav wars. Let's go. Hey guys. Nerfing. Let's go. Yugoslav wars, 3-minute history, go.
Joseph Tito, who had kept Yugoslavia together.
Huh? Oh yeah, Joseph Tito. I watched this guy a long time ago, months ago.
Joseph Tito, who had kept Yugoslavia together since World War II, died in 1980, just as the USSR began reforming and the Yugoslav economy began declining. The IMF agreed to loan Yugoslavia money, but required a series of reforms which worsened unemployment, decentralized the Communist Party, and helped fuel nationalism. However, who became nationalistic first is still a matter of debate. So, to explain Yugoslavia briefly, there were 6 republics. There were the wealthy Catholic republics of Slovenia and Croatia, who sought closer relations with Europe, the poorer Orthodox Republic of Macedonia, the Central Orthodox republics of Montenegro and Serbia, and the Muslim Republic of Bosnia. Plus, Serbia had 2 autonomous regions, Vojvodina and Kosovo. However, Kosovo was largely inhabited by Muslim Albanians, Croatia had a large Serb population, and Bosnia had a large population of Serbs and Croats. So, calls for greater autonomy grew louder throughout the 1980s, and unrest soon followed, particularly in Kosovo, where the Serbs felt persecuted.
Why is such a diverse I mean, I guess you're right on the bulk. I was about to say, why such diversity within a small area such as the Balkans? But I mean, you are at the crossroads of the Slavic, Western Europe influences, Germanic. You have the Arabian influences, not far away at all, bordering pretty much with Turkey. Is Greece considered a Balkan nation? Yes. But yeah, so just, I guess I sort of answered my own question, sorry.
By the Albanian majority. In the midst of the unrest in Kosovo, Slobodan Milosevic became a Serbian hero in 1987 by promising to protect Serbs against the alleged persecution. This helped encourage a wave of protests across Yugoslavia which aimed to unite Serbia and remove any ineffective leaders. By 1989, the anti-bureaucratic revolution had succeeded in putting Milosevic and his allies in power in Serbia, Montenegro, Kosovo and Vojvodina. However, they were prevented from protesting in Slovenia by the Croatians, plus the Slovenians, who were already angry at the arrest of journalists, lent their support to the striking Kosovan miners. Angered, Milosevic imposed sanctions on Slovenian goods, but this just made Slovenia walk out of the Congress of the League of Communists in January 1990, ending the Communist Party of Yugoslavia. With the collapse of the Communist Party, the first multi-party elections took place in 1990, and independence parties took power in Macedonia, Bosnia, Slovenia and Croatia. But the Serbs living in Croatia feared that the new national government may commit the same atrocities the Croatian nationalists did in World War II. So they began to form militias, while the Croatians and Slovenians began to import arms from abroad. With rising tensions and nationalism, small clashes between local forces took place, and there seemed to be no sign of a solution.
There are insane amounts of landmines around this area still, right?
Small clashes between local forces took place, and there seemed to be no sign of a solution. So Slovenia and Croatia declared independence in June 1991, starting the wars. For the homogeneous Slovenia, the war was only 10 days. The peace somewhat delayed their independence, but the federal army focused on Croatia, so Slovenia was free to break away from Yugoslavia. Meanwhile, the Serbs of Croatia had declared their own independence. Then, through a series of bloody battles, notably at Vukovar, they began to expel the Croats from their new republic, Serbian Krajina, while the Yugoslav army lay siege to Dubrovnik. However, the city never fell. As they fought, Macedonia was able to peacefully declare their own independence. After a few months of fighting, the UN called for a ceasefire in Croatia in January 1992, and sent troops in to keep the peace. This peace allowed both the Serbians and Croatians to turn their attention to Bosnia.
Sorry guys. That's one of my other videos finishing up processing. Sorry.
They in to keep the peace. This peace allowed both the Serbians and Croatians to turn their attention to Bosnia, which they both sought to partition. In March 1992, the Bosnians voted for independence, and violence erupted shortly afterwards as Bosnian Serbs declared their own independence. These Serbs pushed the Bosniaks from their new republic and lay siege to Sarajevo, while the Croat-Bosniak War erupted in July. The armies were made up mainly of volunteers and mercenaries, many of which held extremist views, Mujahideen, paramilitary, neo-Nazis, etc. So, a number of atrocities were committed by all sides. However, the Bosniaks bore the brunt of these crimes. Over the next year, the Bosniaks lost a great deal of land, however they were able to keep control of Sarajevo and fight off some advances. But the situation changed in 1993 when Clinton became president of the USA and got involved in the conflict. The UN had imposed sanctions on Serbia and Montenegro, successfully keeping them from entering the Bosnian War directly. So, through threats of sanctions, the West managed to pressure Croatia into making peace with Bosnia in early 1994 and joined forces to fight, keeping them from entering the conflict. The UN imposed sanctions on Serbia and Montenegro, successfully keeping them from entering the Bosnian War directly. So, through threats of sanctions, the West managed to pressure Croatia into making peace with Bosnia in early 1994 and joined forces to fight the new Serbian republics. The Bosniaks and Croats pushed on land, and in mid-1995 they were aided by NATO airstrikes. With comparatively limited support, the republics of Srpska and Krajina finally had to accept peace at the end of the year. The republics were annexed by Croatia and Bosnia, and this put an end to the chance of a greater Serbia. So Yugoslavia was left only with Serbia and Montenegro, however tensions remained high in Kosovo. Initially, independence movements in Kosovo were peaceful, but they became violent.
Does Bosnia and Herzegovina, does the name mean like two separate regions in the country, or does it mean something else?
In 1996, with the foundation of the Kosovan Liberation Army, which received training and money from the West. Their attacks on Yugoslav authorities intensified until Milosevic, then president of Yugoslavia, responded, and the Kosovan War erupted in early 1998. But a year into the conflict, NATO responded by conducting a series of airstrikes on Serbia, forcing Milosevic to withdraw his troops. Milosevic was later ousted from power after a disputed election, and Yugoslavia became Serbia and Montenegro. But in 2006, a referendum narrowly passed and the two nations split. Then, with foreign troops still in Kosovo, Kosovo declared independence in 2008, however many nations have not recognized it.
Cool. Falklands War, I want to check that one out too. Great channel, cool video. Kind of like History Matters, short, to the point, easy, simple, drawings and whatnot. Talking about broader topics and not that much time, but get your foot in the door, those type of videos, to look more into them. And I definitely need to learn more about the Balkans history, post kind of 1900 to, I guess, post Ottoman Empire, Balkan area. Anyways, awesome video. See you guys next time.